Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to Knowledge is Power. And if you are new to this station, this channel is basically addressing the awakening experience. And I'm going to share my story with you and some of the things I've learned along the way. It seems to obviously it's a thing. There are thousands of people in the world who all of a sudden sort of shift their perspective and their mindset paradigm. Uh, the proverbial we think that it has something to do with resonance and frequency, specifically that of the frequency of the earth, and how we are all vibrating. We're all energy in motion. That's just basic science. And how it seems like the Schumann resonance of the earth has changed, which it does periodically. And when one thing changes, other things change because when things stay the same, they stay the same. And in order to change, a change has to take place. So, anyway, it's a thing. I think it's part of the human cycle. I'm going to be really covering a lot of stuff in this video. It's going to be all over the place, but I, I suspect that anybody awake is going to be able to follow this much better than you probably the sleepers have already turned this video off. So here it goes. Awakening goes something like this. We get to a point in our life where things are the same, routine, every day. And but by the way, awakenings happen more than once. And I would say they're more of there's an initial awakening, and then there are revelations and new connections made in our neural network. So uh, once awake, the trigger to become awake is mundane routine. So when things become the same and you feel like you're kind of stuck and you're in a rut and you're in the same place you were yesterday today and you know you're going to be there tomorrow, that's kind of the invitation for something to happen. And whether it's oh, by the way, the physical and metaphysical, spiritual, religious, all of this stuff ties together. It's all connected. It's all accurate, which is really neat. You read the Bible and you read these stories and these ideas, and you go, bullshit. And but then you're I was able to read the book and then apply the information to experience in this world, and something happens. Something really is happening here. So here's where I'd like to start. This place is not what we were told it is. It's not what it was explained to be in school. Um, I, I can't tell you definitively. I keep doing this. You're going to notice I keep reaching back for the high seat cushion, and it's not there. So cheers. Um, So the trigger for an awakening is the routine. You get stuck in a routine and it's going to be in layers. So once you're awake and you ascend some, you're going to hit a plateau. It's just that it's the process, the formula, it's the way it works. So you raise your frequency, you raise your openness, your awareness to things, maybe your sensitivity to other people, um, and at some point, we stop worrying about what other people think or feel, even because we learned that the only person responsible for the way they feel is them. It's not your job to make somebody else happy. Um, your job is you, and it's okay to make other people happy or to bring happiness into their experience, but it's a choice, and it's a choice that we make for it's an altruistic choice. It's something that we do to help the other person and also help us because it feels good to help other people. So there's a symbiosis there. It's a symbiotic relationship. Um, I stopped posting videos on the channel for 2 years. And what happened there is when I started the channel, it was my understanding that creators of videos of content will license their content to you under what's called a Creative Commons license. So that means that they created the content because they wanted it to be transmitted. So they're doing a transmitter's job in spreading the word, and they do so because it's free. They give it to you. And so part of my transmission on this channel was to find videos because at the time I didn't really know much about YouTube. I had an old cell phone and that's about it. But I wanted to transmit this message. And really, I was reaching out to find out, hey guys, is there anybody else going through this, or did I go nuts, or did I skip into another dimension? Like, what happened? And so I just really wanted to get these videos out so that I could say, hey, look, this is what I'm seeing and feeling and experiencing. Does anybody else resonate with this? And so I found some creators of content and posted videos that I believed were crucial kind of stepping stones or clues for anybody who's awake. I felt like these videos are going to help them. So I uploaded a handful of those that I really, really believed in. And I also posted tons and tons of content with me just kind of having these rants and talking about crazy thoughts and miscellaneous things, which was fine. You know, it's Creative Commons license. They give it to you. And so I ran with it, and the channel exploded. I got to all you guys. There was videos on the channel that were receiving 250,000 views, 400,000 views. The channel became monetized, which was neat because then I basically learned what the news does. They and the internet and Facebook and Google and all these things. If you think that what you're doing on this computer is private, it's not. And what's really cool is they're harvesting data from all of us. Just we're giving it to them. It's with their own consent. Um, and you know, could be okay, whatever. But this world, all the important decisions are based on data. We have to have the data and analyze it, and then once we have the data, we can make forecasts and uh, predictions and that kind of thing to some that can be fairly accurate. Well, what these big platforms do is they have a computer, artificial intelligence that monitors everything that it can monitor about you as you're logged into this computer typing stuff. Like you go onto Google and you have a sniffle and you go, oh, you know, what's it mean when I have a runny nose? Well, this computer knows that something's going on in your existence, and it's going to start to kind of do things to sort of influence you to stay in front of the screen, because the job of the computer is really a couple of things. It's to get you to sit there and watch it. It's to get you to click on stuff, to get you to comment, and most specifically to get you to buy something. So they're the computer, and this is a computer, all right. And we know very little about how a computer comes to the output that it gives. We know that if we enter this data, then this is what comes out. If we enter this data, this is what comes out. And so we have this kind of limited understanding of how is this machine working. We've given it unlimited access to the human psyche and human data every day now. It's to the point where a 5-year-old child has a cell phone and they're on YouTube. Some kids are posting, you know, they have their own YouTube channel, but everybody's glued to their phone. And what we don't realize, or maybe we do and don't care, is that all this data, everything that we're looking at, everything that every photo that we see, It's keeping track of how, hey, wait a minute, he stopped at this photo, and he was there for about 6 minutes, and it's his father who passed away, so he's feeling sad or he's reminiscing, and this algorithm can basically know what's going on in you. And with technology where it is, and DNA science getting to be where it is, and all of the studies, we're not far from publicly announcing human cloning. Well, if we have the ability to create the vessel, I'm pretty certain that we also have the ability to program, to put the program in the vessel, just like we do with a computer, just like we do with a car, like a robot, robotics, all that good stuff. We can we can now take a chip that is embedded with your behaviors, your Monday through Sunday kind of day to day, because this cell phone has been keeping track of you since you bought it. It knows where you've gone, everywhere you've gone, because you bring it with you everywhere. It knows your routine. So now we've got this advanced intelligence system. And this isn't fairy dust either. This isn't hard to. This is solid physical, really here in this experience um, happening. So it really feels like we're being taken over by our own consent. We're giving it away. Now, okay, let's say it's no big deal, right? No big deal. But I don't believe that, because I went on my YouTube channel, and you guys would be shocked at the amount of information I know about who you are, who's watching these videos, how long you spend on each one, where you go after the video, where you were before you came here. And if I wanted to isolate one member or two or 10 or whatever, I could. And I could probably take just my YouTube channel, which you've been watching for 2 years, and have a pretty good idea of who you are, what you do, what you're interested in, what you like, what you don't like, what your religious beliefs are, you name it. And we've never met. Uh, and so this kind of thing, and this is me. I'm just I'm just a guy. I'm not. I wasn't trained in computer science. Um, I am uh, here along these lines. I believe there's two types of people, and when I say people, I mean whatever it is we are. There's two types in this existence. There's like kind of the real and the fake. So we've been calling them NPCs or organic portals. Um, I'm kind of starting to feel like that's why I feel different. And that's probably why you feel different. By the way, if you've gotten this far in this video, it's been 13 minutes. If you've watched to this point, you're one of the special people. And not saying like I'm special, you're special, but you are. So I guess I am saying we're special. You are a very special person, and I'm just going to ask a few questions, and if these questions are questions you've asked or you felt, then I think we're on the same page. We can continue. So maybe the first is, I don't know about you, but for me, my my life has been fairly easy, and I don't mean that there hasn't been hard times. I mean that any time that I've put effort into something, it comes out really well. I feel that I have the ability to focus my effort and be able to produce pretty much the result that I want to produce. Um, there's some limitations, just like anybody. We're limited by our level and our programming. So, like a silly thing about the awake experience is when you get to the end of an awakening, you're going to be right back where you started at the very beginning. except instead of a level 1 player, you're a level 3 or 5 or 7. And so even though you're in the same place, kind of, and it feels familiar, and you know you're comfortable in it, you're a much higher, more advanced level than you were before. So just like in a game, when you increase your level, more things become available to you. And there may be you might meet a person, and now that you're open to listening to people instead of just waiting for their lips to stop moving so you can talk, um, maybe now you've heard something that really got to you and really resonated, and you know in your heart and soul that some you were unlocked, something opened in you. Um, it's the feeling of accomplishment usually when you achieve something that you haven't achieved before. There's a little fire that burns in you. It feels really good. It's very brief and it's subtle, but I feel like if you're at this channel, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's the difference between reading something in a book and feeling like it's true and accurate. The difference between that and then going out and trying it and then experiencing it and knowing for 100% without a doubt that it's a fact and it's a thing that you can do because you did it. Nobody can tell you it's impossible now, right? So for me, that's happened several times, but a simple time was when I was 5 years old. My grandfather, we were walking on our property. My parents had bought 200 acres of land, and we had this beautiful mountain kind of forest, and we were going for a walk, and my grandpa just for what and I don't know why I remembered this, but he looked down and he says, "Did you know that if you rub two sticks together fast enough and hard enough, and they're the right sticks, that you can turn that into fire?" And I was like 5 or 6. And fast forward 30 years, and I'm sitting there out in the woods one day, and it just clicked to me. I should try that. The Indians used to do it according to the books, and it's supposed to be possible. I'm pretty sure it can be done. So what did I do? I went on YouTube, watched some videos, saw some other people doing it, and said, okay, yeah, I guess it can be done. And then I learned, listened to the videos, and I basically learned the types of wood to use and how to know if it can be done with this stick and how to create the spindle, and there's several methods to do this. And so anyway, so I went out in the woods and I found the sticks and trees and reeds and all that stuff. And for it took me 1 month to learn the technique to spin a fire out of wood. But and so 1 month, imagine, I had a full-time job at the time. I do now also, but at the time of the story, I had a full-time job, and when I got home from work every day for about an hour, I would sit down and spin. And firstly, there's all these things that you learn along the way that you had no clue were even part of the equation when you're watching the videos, right? So, like one of them for me is it's exhausting. It takes requires so much energy to to get the timing and to hold the stick in and to keep the heat in and to keep doing this over and over and over and without being over it, because if you exercise you sweat, and then if you sweat it drips off your head, and if you're right over it, it drips right onto the thing you're trying to catch on fire. It won't catch on fire. So along the way you learn all these things that you never knew existed. And then finally one day, and I remember this, I was sitting out on like a concrete patio around a pool, and we had a neighbor right next door, and their house was way up higher, so they were constantly like sitting there smoking in their window, looking down into our pool area, and they were like watching me for a month every day spinning this wood spindle stick trying to make a fire. And by the way, I also you have to have a little nest ready, and once you get the tinder coal, you put it in the nest, and then you know blow it into a fire. But so one day I had bloody hands. My hands were completely torn up and calluses in the important spots where, for a month of doing this, the skin was peeling off my hands. I had a big blister, like a blood blister right here, that it hurt so bad uh, because it popped, but it built the human body is on your side, and it's a machine. It's a machine that will basically take whatever input you give it, and it will build itself in a way to do that thing better. So when you walk barefoot, you develop calluses on the bottom of your feet. How amazing is that? It's an organic machine. And martial artists, the movie Kill Bill, where the girl was, doing the punch thing to get out of the coffin. Not that that was real, but there are martial artists there that can produce very amazing results, and it's not because they necessarily learned something that you don't know. It's that they knew just keep doing it. And when you continue, if you take your fist and punch it into a tree, after a while, your body is going to turn that fist. It's all the bone is going to break down a little bit when you're constantly punching, and then the body is going to send all these little things to start rebuilding the bone. And but when they rebuild it a little bit harder, little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, a little more calcium. It's almost like a bunch of nano ants taking all this stuff from one place and putting it to another. And so after a significant amount of time punching a tree, you're going to be able to punch a tree and not hurt your hand. And it takes a lot of time, and more importantly, it takes routine every day. So the body gets on your side. We can do almost anything we want to, and especially once you start learning how what kind of fuel this machine really needs, and it's not all the shit that you've been putting in you because you were told to or you learned to when you were a kid, or because they flashed a Big Mac sign in front of you. And I'm not preaching vegetarianism either. I did that, and it yields an amazing result. It changed completely my relationship with food. I also did several fasts, 3 day fasts, no eating, just water. And in doing so, my body is very easy for me to shape. I have much more energy than I've ever had ever before, and I'm older, um, which is amazing. I have been healthy the since I started uploading videos. Not a sniffle, not a nothing. Um, I I twisted a muscle, but that's not really a malady. That's more of a something moved wrong or whatnot. So there's a lot of little weird secrets embedded in this place, um, and but the only way we're going to learn them or really genuinely accept that it's a thing is by doing it. So it's really that makes it a lot easier to know that you're responsible for you. You're not responsible for other people. So, if you have a child, of course, yes, you take care of the child, but I'm just talking about the emotion, the happiness, the experience. If they're not happy, it's on them, and they have to work their way through that unhappiness. And I know this because you choose to be happy, or choose to be content, or um, choose to be balanced. But whatever it is, it's your choice. It's not somebody else's. I always get a kick out of these like blurbs and memes. If you're like a Facebook or Instagram person, you'll see constantly blowing up on your feed. There's going to be like old friends, family, people that you know. And if you are on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or any of those, you probably kind of know the person's program, right? There's like the girl that's going through men every 8 months. So she's serial monogamous, right? And so every like, oh, you always know when you find the one, and there's like the happy faces, everybody's happy, and then a few months later, there's like the little blurb, um, if he can't take the time to blah blah blah, then he can't be mine. So there's like little trouble in paradise, and then in a few months it's over, and they're like, yeah, and they're just posting this shit for anybody who will listen. And so after a while of seeing it's a cycle, you watch it long enough, it's over and over and over again. You want to like grab that person, shake them, and say, "Hey, guess what? You suck at choosing partners." And they'll never hear you. They'll never believe that it could possibly be them, but it is, because guess who is responsible for their life? Them. They made the choices that got them to that point. They are the ones who keep choosing to pick the, whatever it is that they eventually hate. It's them. It's not the guy's fault usually, or sometimes, I mean, some whatever. It's everybody's fault or nobody's fault. But it's not her fault. It's not his fault. It's just they are running through their program and then complaining about it. So if you want change, you have to change. Something has to change. And people want change, but they don't want to change. They think they're right and perfect, and everybody else has to change. But in reality, the only thing that can make a change in any of our lives is if we change something. So a lot of stuff involved in waking up. It really opens something in the mind. I've found. Oh, by the way, so a lot of you guys are asking why did I take down the content and the videos, and what happened? So back to the beginning of this story, those Creative Commons videos. Well, what happened was one of the creators of a Creative Commons video that they gave away for and licensed for people to use for free, on and without alterations. You don't really alter the video. You just upload it and say, all right, this is what I believe, or this is something I thought you guys would like. And so anyway, this guy found out that this channel had at the time was getting that specific video was getting something like 400,000 views, or 470,000 views, and on his channel where he posted it, it had 2,000 views. So this guy was upset. Now, he was upset enough to reach out and message me, uh, which, by the way, I believe is greed inspired, because it was no big deal. Well, my channel only had a couple thousand views, but as soon as the channel and video got traction and went viral, this guy was so upset. And I even asked him. I said, I thought you licensed this video under Creative Commons, and generally people that do that do so that the message can spread, right? That's why you gave it away for free. You believe in the message. You want other people to hear it. My channel was the outlet for your message. What's the problem? Oh, my family could have used that money. Like, what kind of money do you think this channel makes? Sorry, guy, but the viewers. I mean, this is about an awakening. So, what happens first thing after you wake up? You go broke. Just like in the Bible, you read the Bible, it's talking about giving all away your possessions. I'm sure half of you, some of you have done that. I did, and so this isn't. I mean, I sell ebooks, information for $9 or 9.99. And by the way, any of you that want it for free, it's available for free too. The folks that are buying my books are doing so to help me. So like I don't know what kind of money you think you're missing out on, but the whole year. on YouTube produced like $1,600, and that wasn't just your video. That I had 115 videos, and his was one. So it was like I couldn't really get my mind around what was going on. But so anyway, so I took the video down, and then received a copyright strike. So I had complied. You know, the guy, he wasn't happy that I was using his free video that he licensed other people to use. So I said, okay, fine. I took it down. I uploaded a squirrel video. And then I said, hey guys, if you like this video, go to that guy's channel. I don't, I'm trying to help him. And so in any case, that happened. By the way, that guy, his channel has a lot of great content. It's bar none 11901 or something like that. His name's Chris. He sells orgone pyramids. He's a pretty cool guy. He's unlocked. Um, he went in a different direction than some. Um, but in any case, that was kind of the start. And then after that, like very shortly after that, I received another copyright strike on what was it, on another Creative Commons video. And so I said, all right, you know what? Anything that's on my channel that I found under create that was given away free, I have to get rid of because they're I believe what happened is as soon as money gets involved, then it's like, look, the channel had these videos for 2 years. Everything was fine, no problem. As soon as money got involved, then I got the two strikes, and they said, you know what? I have to take these down because three strikes and the channel's gone. So there's that, and at the time I had 34,000 subscribers. Not even a huge amount, but and that just goes to show you the percentage of people that are actually awake in this existence. And I mean, they're here, they're at the channel and read the comments. These guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. And you're all going through the same thing I went through and am going through. I don't think it ever ends once it starts. But in any case, the new direction of this channel is it's going to be more along the lines of functional things. What we can do right now, we're in the physical reality, or the physical manifestation of this experience. And it all ties together. So if you find something in the spiritual realm, in philosophy books, um, oh, by the way, this is new to me. The webcam is up high, and normally when I'm doing videos, I have the camera kind of right in the center of the screen. So if you see me kind of looking back and forth, it's just old habit. Um, yeah. So anyway, these these videos are going to be more like uh, subtle things that we see now, and how it like all the little laws, they kind of interconnect. For instance, the law of attraction. I'm sure all of you are fully aware of this law, or this thing that's out there, and it's really it's not exactly what we think, because it sounds kind of like if we ignore all the bad stuff and we just go like, life is good, la 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 la, sunshine and lollipops, that that's what we're going to attract. But it doesn't really work like that. A perfect example is a squeaky tire, right? If you're driving on the road, it's almost the opposite. It's like that which you don't focus on expands, and it's kind of like this. If you got a squeaky tire and you're going, well, turn the radio up, it's fine, no problem. I'm thinking positive thoughts. You're gonna drive, and that'll get you through a couple weeks or a month or a couple months, and then you're going to have a really squeaky tire, and it's going to be clunking and loud, and an obvious problem. And you're going to say, well, I'm protected, things are okay. I don't have to worry about this thing. No big deal. And then you're going to be driving one day and your fucking tire is going to fly off the car and the car will flip off the highway and you know you're going to go, well, that didn't work. And that is the the that is the trap in this idea of a law. It's not like that. It's more like you hear the squeaky tire and you go, okay, I have a squeaky tire. I'm a functional person. I understand what that means. It means that the tire is telling me it needs to be fixed. So, being a functional human being, I know that this is a problem because in order to solve a problem, you have to know that there's a problem. You say, okay, this is a problem. I'm going to fix it. And you take an hour and you take the tire off and or you buy new tires or whatever, brakes or whatever it is, and you fix it. And if you don't do that, you say, okay, well, I'm a responsible human being. I'm going to bring it to somebody who's going to fix it because this is my vessel for transportation. It allows me access to the whatever the work world or whatever world you need to be in, and so you fix it, and then everything is fine. It even feels a little better because now you don't have that little thing that you're trying really hard to ignore because you want to be positive. And I've seen it over and over and over again that I'm so tired of hearing this crap about the law of attraction. It's more like um, the simplest explanation is usually the right one. And so if you want to know the secret of you, like what is your program? What is your program? What level are you of a player in the game? Um, if you want to know that, all you have to do is look at you. Look at your where are you? Do you have money? That's your financial program. If you have money, then that's about where you're programmed to be. If you don't have money and you have debt, well, then that's your program, and you need to address it. Or or maybe you don't, but you have to know that the result is coming from you. So, a person that has lousy relationships, guess what? That's their program. They are going to have lousy relationships until they identify whatever it is in going on in their head that is bringing them in. Maybe the daddy issues. Maybe they want somebody to take care of them. Maybe they want to get beat up. Maybe they're looking for um, something that isn't out there. Maybe they're drawn to most people are kind of drawn to those things that aren't necessarily good for them. Somebody who doesn't quite give you the time of day might seem a little more interesting because they're mysterious, and so it's always like that. But until you figure out, like the girl on the post or whatever, yeah, well, look at the guys. Look at the guys. One kid got out of prison. One of them was, a drug dealer. What do you think what's going to happen? Not nothing against prison and drug dealers, but just in a general sense of a relationship. My goodness, where did you meet them? That's another thing, right? So if you want to find garbage, look in the dumpster. What in the world makes these people think that they're going to find a quality human being in a bar or in a club where they're all trying to drug each other and sleep with however many, like what in the world? And so like a person who's awake, they know that if they want to find somebody who likes the same things that they like, which is a pretty good foundation for a relationship, then they should do the things they like. And then guess what? There's going to be other people there doing the things they like, and you all like the same thing. And that's how you find a quality partner. Somebody, something like, what is it? Would we both like to drink? No, no. but but that's the way we can tell where we're at is you look at your results. What's my home life like? Well, it's right here. This is it. It's it's a rental. Um, it's in a kind of older rental, but it's on a lake. We're in Florida. It's beautiful. It's not a palace by any means, but I really like it, and I'm comfortable here. It's works for me, works for the family, and so that's it. So, but that's how you know, and so then it becomes really simple, right? You can look at somebody, and within a few seconds, they've already transmitted all the information that you need to know about where they're at, what kind of, what are they interested in, what's their financial situation like, are they educated, are they, are they cowards, do they face the music, uh, all of these things, and you kind of know based on what you're seeing in front of you, because it is what it is. It's not going to change. By the way, the energy vampires out there, a very cool trick that they do, um, is that human beings, we tend to hold on to the first impressions, right? So you've probably heard through the awakening thing, it's very important to live in the now, live in the present moment, not in the past, not in the future. And what's really cool about that is an energy vampire, just like any parasite, a mosquito is a great example. Do you know that the first thing that the mosquito does after, it infrared, it can see your blood vessels, or it can see your arteries and where they are. It knows when they're pumping and whatnot. But once it sees that, it comes down, and the first thing it does is it gives you a gift. It actually injects you with something that's going to kind of not, it's going to numb the area so it doesn't hurt, and it's going to kind of thin the blood so it's easier for the thing to suck the blood out. And then if you let it go and it leaves, it's going to take all of that stuff back with it and go. And all that's happened is it has gained something, taken everything it's given to you back, and then left, and it's left with a little part of you. And that's a relationship with an energy vampire. That's what happens. They are very good in the beginning. They give the gift. They give you the stuff that you want and need, and then they change on purpose, because it's not that they're changing, it's that they turn back to who they really are, and the human is still in the past of who they were. They're not that person. They never were. But specifically, if you're living in the present moment, they're not that person anymore. And that is kind of the way that an awakened person is going to look at that. And they're going to know, right? Like, it makes perfect sense. There it is. That's the story, and I'm done. I'm moving on to something else because I read that book and now I'm done with it. And so strong, it's a very powerful position to be in, as far as confidence, as far as knowing where you stand in a room with other people. Um, you're going to be, this game and this experience is like a proving ground. It's a controlled environment. I like that. I liked that term. It was in a comment that was made to me. I'm going to hold on to that. It's a controlled environment where you'll be tested, and through those tests and through the processes, you are going to be kind of separated. It's separation of from the wheat from the chaff. And it's the process, the hard process, that is going to allow the separation. Uh, a real life example of this is in my profession, right? I deal in customer service and in a renovation kind of environment. We remodel homes. We help create a nice environment for people to live in. And it doesn't always go perfect. I mean, people can kind of go a couple different ways. They get emotional and whatnot. But one real benefit of this experience is that anymore, when I see it's going to be difficult, or when I'm in a in a difficult or emotional, not me, but the like our client is in an emotional or difficult moment, I have the tools now to and the faith to walk straight into that situation, knowing. I mean, imagine, right? When we were all kids, what was it like when you got in trouble with your mom, but your dad was still at work, and it was like when your dad comes home, you're going to be in big trouble. And we all know what that's like. That feeling of like, oh man, it's 4:49. You'll be here soon, and we don't like that. Well, that's the feeling of walking in to knowing that you're like walking into a situation knowing that you're going to get hollered at, or it's just going to be really unpleasant. But in staying in the moment and facing the fire, it always, and maintaining composure and being neutral without judging, trying to see the other person's side, even trying to show them and demonstrate to them that you do see their side, and respecting them, and listening to them, hearing them, letting them get it all out. And then even if you can't do anything about it, just being there in front of it, and facing that awful energy, right? It it strengthens you, and it separates you from others, because others are going to run, and it just starts really coming together when you get there, because you may have heard this thing. It says if you want to get the results that other people don't get, do the things that they aren't willing to do. And it's that there it is. That's the separation. That's the level up. That's the at least in the physical, that's kind of the noticeable effect of all of these things. I mean, knowing that everything happens on purpose. What a strength is that? How do you tell, like, a customer where, let's say that their roof fell down or something, I don't know, but you tell them, listen, this seems like a horrible moment, and I'm sure it feels that way. However, I believe that everything happens not for a reason, but on purpose. Okay, this happened exactly the way it was supposed to happen. It happened to you. It was supposed to happen to you. I don't know why, but there was it was done on purpose. It was part of a design. It could be that your roof falling down now causes you to move out of state, and then 2 months later, a tornado rips the whole house down, and you might not ever know that that's what happened. But that's the way that these things kind of work. And so knowing that, it's it's pretty freeing. It certainly helps get rid of some of that negative energy, and it's just it's the more that you grow and the more that you get uh, on the path of truth and understanding, you get rid of the seven sins, and understand that any of those, like any action that you take that's ignited by greed, envy, lust, any of the seven sins, if you take that action, it's going to come right back and punch you in the face. It's going to come back to you. Whereas on the other side of that, if you kind of make your decisions based on understanding and maybe generosity and admiration instead of envy, love and not lust, you know, those are the kind of things that really dissipate negative energy. It's hard, by the way, for negative energy people to be around somebody who doesn't really go for it. They can't draw much. What do they call it? Loosh, I think, is what Dave Icke and some of those guys call it. But they can't. It's hard for them. If anything, when you try to help them, and there's a lot of ways they can extract energy, but just by kind of understanding that whatever it is that is going on in them is their issue, not yours, is pretty powerful. Knowing that maybe you're in front of them for a reason, or that definitely you're in front of them on purpose, is it just kind of makes it a lot easier to get through some of the tough stuff. And then when you get through it, there's some sort of reinforcement, like a confirmation from the that who which created us. Um, if you ask for something, when once you get centered and balanced and kind of all the negative stuff pushed aside and the rabbit hole chasing, because the any one of these subjects, any single one of them can go on forever. And just like the YouTube algorithm, part of the formula, what they need, what this place needs is your time and energy. And so if you're just pushing your energy into some like what was the big one there last year? Uh, the one where they were like taking movies and the movie somehow changed. I don't remember what the term was for it, but it was like everything was changing and people were thinking they're jumping into different dimensions. And what they didn't realize was that the people who made the movie made it that way 20 years ago and planned on changing it. Or like there was a building that was supposed to have like gone up overnight. The building wasn't even there; it was photoshopped. So like there's propaganda and all kinds of crap that's just meant to get people to dig in and to not do anything in their real physical world. So anyway, this video has gone on way long. Probably, if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. I know sometimes I could just blather, and I don't know if there's any good points here, but I read some of your comments last night, and I replied to a bunch of them. But I haven't been on the channel for so long that every comment was like, "Bring videos back, want some content." So this is what I have for now, and if this is valuable to you, let me know, and I'd be happy to continue because I got a lot to say. A lot of things have happened. I can share experiences. There seems to be like a um, very structured way that we all get through the awakening. There's a key point to turning. Like when you get dark night of the soul, if you're there and you're ready to jump off a bridge, I got a solution for you. And it, you know, take it or leave it. But what I did was I had to choose between jumping off a cliff and not. And I was in the middle of a field late at night, just really feeling sorry for myself and everything that was going on, desperate, hopeless, you know, dark night of the soul stuff. And I ended up just basically, in whatever words I could, submitting to God, or you know, I say God, that which created us, or our source, which we came from. And it just basically said, you know, I'm tired of thinking I know what I want, trying to chase it. And instead, if you just show me the way, I'll walk the path and I won't ask questions. But I think I said something like, you know, I'm not too bright, so you got to be very clear with me and make it like, you know, very definitive. And it was an amazing thing. The next day, it was like all the fog lifted. Um, the answer was the path was put forth to me, and I walked it, and now here I am. And the reason that I did that was you guys. I was hearing from you several people that they were stuck in the dark night of the soul, and like for years. And I was there for like a few months, and didn't want to spend years that way. And I figured, you know, there's got to be something. There is something that has to happen, just like in a video game. You get stuck on a level, you just keep wandering around the level, and eventually you'll figure it out. And that's what this is. You just keep playing, and eventually you'll figure it out. So that led me to believe that probably not many people are willing to give up their um, what they think they want, or their ego is really what it is. But as soon as you give it up, it will be replaced with something much, much better. And I think we'll leave it at that for tonight. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. And let me know what you want to hear about. I'm sure I have a thought about it. So I'll be happy to do another video for you. And thank you again for watching. Take care.